Hello, happy daylight savings, even though I'm in Arizona and we don't do that here. um, but I know that the change is in the air and there is some shifting in the time. I mean, it does affect me too because when I talk to you, I have to adjust my thinking around where you are. So I just wanted to jump in today and actually speak about how we can find the change, the spiritual, the transformative, the metamorphic realization that we know is happening in the world and that we actually want to see happen, how we can start to find that in the mundane. I put all this warm stuff on this morning because it gets chilly and then it starts warming up here. I'm slowly starting to peel back for our warm day. But in the everyday mundane lies the key to a spiritual life. And if we can learn to attune to everything having a piece of the sacred, I can hear my kids are starting to quarrel a little, and one of them might come running in here crying even. And it is always my job to find that the holy in that as well as in pouring a cup of tea or sitting and taking quiet time or reading or cleaning up the kitchen or the mess the cat made or whatever it is, to find yourself completely present in that moment makes it a meditation. I hear a lot of people saying they have a hard time meditating. Well, I suggest just working on being more present with each and every moment, because when you can observe yourself as if from the outside and say, I'm cleaning up the floor, but I'm aware of my hand reaching down and picking up the item and moving it to whatever, and I'm not just thinking ahead of when this is going to be clean. I'm actually in the moment with the cleaning of it. And maybe I step on something and it hurts and I'm completely present. Pain is an easy thing to get present with because it makes you. But what about all the other simpler things? Turning on water to wash your hands, filling the bubbles on your hands, shaking the water off, drying it, feeling the texture of the towel. As we participate more intimately with each moment of life, each mundane moment of life, life reveals itself to us that it is in fact holy in every moment, that the God essence, the life force, is available to us when we become present. That's the 0 point. And healing is actually just a returning to full presence, a returning to what's happening right now. And anxiety often comes when we are too uncomfortable with that. And we're trying so hard to get away from ourselves and the thoughts we're having. And if that's true, then we probably want to get down with them even more and just sit with what is. And if we've made mistakes, okay, we get to sit with that. We get to kind of eat our own lunch, so to speak, whatever we made for ourselves. And as uncomfortable or comfortable as it is, the practice is just being with the self. I've come to a place in my life, thankfully, after many years of practicing this exact thing, where I can completely have an outburst of anger or get upset or just find myself saying stuff that I just have had on my chest in the past to people I haven't seen in a while, and I'm able to observe myself doing it and afterwards recognize the purposefulness of being able to be with myself even in those moments. Now, luckily, these people are also able to just sit and observe, and we're able to do this together. But the point is to get to a place where you're not beating yourself up and wishing you didn't have certain emotions, but getting to a place in life where you can have the emotions and be able to move through them and still love yourself, still be good with yourself. Allow the emotions through, because we're not meant to be robots. We aren't meant to not have experiences at all that stimulate different parts of us. We're training ourselves to be with all of that and be with every moment presence is the God self. Presence is the divine aspect of us, witnessing the human and being okay with it. Not judging, oh, you shouldn't have done that. That was a bad thing you did. Or look at the mess you're making. No, like being present with yourself, being human with compassion and understanding. This is a holy state. This is a high level living that we're all aspiring to and working on, and what the inner work is about. And everything I share and teach is about getting comfortable with the self, getting present with the body, observing the breath. All the yogic practices teach us this in a very, I think, easy way and non-judgmental way, because we're just getting comfortable with the different feelings of the body first. And, if we're out of shape, the body feels painful, and there's a stretch. And being able to be with that and notice that and breathe with that is preparatory practice for getting in an uncomfortable emotional situation or a mental situation, and being able to just be with that and breathe with that as well. So there is something to yoga being a masterful art, because it really does teach us that on a deep level. And Kundalini life force is awakening all people right now. I am experiencing yet another layer of a Kundalini awakening, so I know if I'm going through it again, it's also happening in all life forms. So to be able to know what that looks like and what's happening, again, so as to not judge yourself wrongly or think that you have some kind of an ailment that you may not. That Kundalini can look like a lot of things. And the most important thing right now is also education on what that looks like. So I have some courses that I've put together that are simple, basic Life Force 101, if you're interested in that. Otherwise, just becoming aware that there is another way of looking at this. And if you begin to query with yourself what's going on, like what's a more positive way I could spin this? What else could this be meaning rather than the old way? And write your own new story. Tell yourself something about how you feel that is going to help you, that is going to empower you. And in a simple nutshell, that is the way to presence, being okay with what is, breathing in it and finding peace. And as we do this one by one, we will see it ripple out into the world. And I truly believe what we're seeing right now is the unveiling of the underlayers. And what we're seeing is not the eternal truth, but is simply some stuff under the rug that is being cleaned out as we bring our awareness to it. So again, with as much compassion as possible. Oh, this is what happens when you don't pay attention, under the rug kind of thing. Okay, humanity, compassion for ourselves, observation, and allowing this movement to occur by knowing that is the process. Okay, thank you for joining me today. Also observing your relationship with time today might be a great idea as the clocks are changing one place or another. And remembering that time is an illusion that we use to serve us. It isn't an eternal truth. When we are in the present moment, time does dissolve. So the more that we are present, the more windows of opportunity we open for ourselves, and the less hurried we feel, which anxiety can be a result of trying too hard to stick to linearity. Even in our meditations, if we're practicing, we're very time-oriented around them. So find some time to go into timelessness today, perhaps. Put the clocks away, maybe cover the mirrors, and just be present with what is. And see what magic occurs when you do this. Okay. Till next time.